Coming up on NBC26 today, messy winter commute. We have the latest updates on road conditions and school closings.
Plus, a family in mourning after a 2-month-old baby dies from alleged abuse.
And a temporary fix. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill end the nearly 3-day government shutdown, but have less than 3 weeks to reach another deal. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Brooke Hafes.
I'm Shane Gustafson.
All right, it's a slippery, slushy start to your morning after a big storm blew through.
We're keeping an eye on the roads this morning. We have meteorologist Gino Recchia. He's in Kewanee. Her Emily Byers in Marinette. But first, let's go to meteorologist Michael Fish with the first look at the forecast.
All right, you guys, it's not about what's falling right now. Anything that is falling is relatively light. It's what fell yesterday, mainly as liquid, is now frozen on over. So we're doing a lot of cleanup from that and the snow to the north. Winds kind of howling out there. Look at 18 miles per hour. But you see in Green Bay where everything yesterday mainly fell as liquid, it's now frozen on over as we're below freezing, 27 degrees. So on the backside of this low pressure, still seeing a couple rounds of wintry precipitation. It's not just snow, it's mixing it with a little bit of freezing drizzle. You see it going along parts of 43 through Manitowoc, Sheboygan counties, parts of Fond du Lac. Kind of this lull here, but there's a little bit more on the way, working its way right along 29 through Shawano County, getting closer and closer to Green Bay right now. Now, all of this is pretty light, but still kind of hindering cleanup just a little bit more accumulation on top of what you're trying to already clean up. So Skycast showing that batch of light wintry precip move on out as we head through the morning. And then as we go into the afternoon, notice we're going to start to see the sun and we'll quiet things down, though it will still be blustery. So everyone is back below freezing, 29 in Fond du Lac, 27 in Oshkosh. So any standing water has now frozen its way on over. And as you clean up this morning, throwing down some salt, we got wind chills that feel like 14 in Oshkosh, 13 Manitowoc, and 15 in Appleton. So as we go through the day, that morning light wintry mix of some freezing drizzle, some light snow, any accumulation minor, that's going to end. Still blustery, going up to a high of 30 today. But you guys, I do have 40 in the forecast. I'll let you know when that gets here coming up.
All right, thanks, Fish. Let's take a look at our road conditions right now. Here's a live look at the DOT's winter road conditions map.
And as you can see there, northeast Wisconsin has 3 colors on that map. If you take a look at Door County, you see that red on Highway 57 and 42 all the way through Door County. That means those highways are ice covered. From Green Bay down through Appleton and Oshkosh down through Fond du Lac, those highways, Highway 41 there, listed as pink, which means those are slippery stretches. The rest of northeast Wisconsin is seeing mainly blue, which means those highways are snow covered. We are not seeing any green listed on this map across northeast Wisconsin, which would signify good winter driving.
And our meteorologist Gino Recchia has been keeping an eye on those roads. He's in Kewanee this morning.
He's tracking a band of snow and sleet right now, and he continues our team coverage.
Good morning, guys. Yes, we are just outside of downtown Kewanee. As we were driving here from Green Bay, the main roads, they're okay. And the crews have been doing a great job moving through. We have a truck that just passed me right now. A lot of salt. They had to apply a bit of it because of some freezing drizzle that occurred last night. Temperatures dropped below the freezing mark, and it was still a light mist, and that caused a little bit of a glaze of ice. Now, outside of the main roadways, it's the side streets. That was what's causing a little bit of an issue and why we have some school delays as we speak. But this sidewalk that I'm standing in right now, we got a very thin glaze of ice. So if you want to try and practice, maybe learn how to ice skate, this might be a good day to do so. Also, dress up and bundle up if you plan to put some salt on it. It is good news that we are going to be warming up into the 40s later on, so any kind of patches that might not be salted now will eventually melt, and with that wind, that'll kind of pretty much evaporate it. But keeping you connected in Kewanee, meteorologist Gino Recchia, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Gino. And for those driving out on the ice, drive slow and be defensive this morning. If you do happen to go into the ditch, stay in your car and call 911 for help. AAA also recommends putting together an emergency kit for your car, and they suggest topping off fluids, check your windshield wipers, and always watch out for brake lights in icy conditions. All right, let's go now to our Emily Byers. She is in Marinette.
And she's continuing our team coverage. Good morning, Emily. How is it out there?
Hey guys, good morning everyone. We're here on kind of a main drag in Marinette. This is Hall Avenue. Traffic is moving smoothly through here. There's a couple cars waiting down here. We just had a train go through. If you take a look down below, this is what they're dealing with here. We were dealing with a lot of ice in Peshtigo. This is a sidewalk. right here. It's completely buried. If you take a look over there, you can see a sidewalk that is completely paved at this point, but they still got to get over here. We have seen a couple different plows out throwing ice. If you take a look actually behind you here, Matt, we've got another plow over here that is plowing a couple different parking lots. So they are still shoveling out a lot of snow in this area. They're just dealing with a lot of snow. And again, they've got all these snow sidewalks, which are completely covered. So Marinette school districts are also on a 2-hour delay, so stay with us for that to see if that updates throughout the morning. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Emily. And last night, snow and rain creating some dangerous conditions in Peshtigo. Crews were out all day making sure the roads were safe for drivers. The warmer temperatures melted some of that snow and created some icy, slick streets as well. Workers are reminding drivers and walkers to take it easy.
The icy roads, watching for other drivers if they're going to stop in time or not. A lot of people they slide right through the intersections.
But this is wet, heavy snow. It is going to pull your car all over. It's not going to be able to let you go where you want to go. So your speed's going to have a factor in that. Take it slow, give the plows plenty of room to work.
Crews say they'll still be out this morning salting and clearing roads. Another helpful resource is our Storm Shield app. It's inexpensive and it's available for your smartphone device. You can find it in your app store. Now, an 8.2 magnitude earthquake has been detected in the Gulf of Alaska, about 175 miles southeast of Kodiak. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake had a depth of about 6 miles. A tsunami warning is also in effect for southern Alaska, and a tsunami watch is in effect for Washington, Oregon, and California.
And Brooke, they're not done with the shaking in Alaska because, first of all, there's this big yellow circle. That was the initial earthquake. Now they're seeing all the aftershocks, which are these smaller yellow circles, and the most recent are the red circles. So activity still going on. These are all the tsunami warnings right along the Alaska coast. Even as far as Hawaii, seeing some tsunami watches. So very interesting there, but bringing it back home, we're still watching some light wintry precipitation moving through. It's not just light snow. There is a little bit of freezing drizzle mixed in here. Kind of this lull between Green Bay, now just getting into Appleton right now, that lull in Oshkosh, part of Fond du Lac. Moving its way to the north, though, we're not quite done. It's going right along 29 through Shawano. None of this is heavy, but still hindering cleanup just a little bit. Skycast showing that moving on out as we head through the morning, though. And by the afternoon, here comes some sunshine, but it's not going to help temperatures too much, where everyone is back below freezing. 27 Oshkosh, Manitowoc, 28 in Sheboygan. So we've refrozen, of course, any sort of water that's been out there. That's what's causing these problems right now. Wind chills as you throw down the salt this morning in Appleton, feels like 15 and 14 in Oshkosh. So this morning, light wintry mix in a few spots going to come to an end. Then blustery this afternoon, going up to a high of 30 degrees. But you guys, I do have 40 in the forecast. I'll let you know when that gets here coming up.
All right, thanks, Fish. 2 suspects appeared in court on homicide charges for allegedly killing a man outside of a tavern in Fond du Lac. Jesse Schultz and Devin Newman were charged with being a party to murder. This after the body of Logan Foster was found across from the Press Box Tavern in a vacant parking lot back in September of last year. In court, the 2 men had their bonds set at $1 million cash, no contact with each other or Foster's family.
Police in Two Rivers blame the death of a baby on child abuse. 22-year-old Matthew Brown Edwards is now behind bars for the death. Police were called to a Northside apartment last Wednesday. When they arrived, the infant had no pulse and was not breathing. They were able to resuscitate the baby, taking it to a hospital where it later died. Well, the government is open again this morning, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers are heading back to work. Lawmakers still have a lot ahead of them. President Trump signed a short-term spending bill last night. It funds the government until February 8th. Congress has until then to pass a long-term deal. The president tweeted that the bill is a big win for Republicans and said Democrats caved.
No way the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats got a better deal than people expected.
President Trump's unwillingness to compromise caused the Trump shutdown and brought us to this moment. The facts are well known.
Republican leaders say they want the president to have a more active role in immigration negotiations. After yesterday's Senate vote, the president met with Republican senators and 2 Democrats from Republican-controlled states to talk about immigration.
And here in Wisconsin, the news to end the shutdown has thousands of employees headed back to their jobs soon.
NBC26's Eric Kress spoke with a professor about what this temporary shutdown ultimately tells us about our leaders in Washington.
TSA agents still made sure our airports were safe and Social Security checks continued to be issued. But in light of the first government shutdown in about 5 years, this act by government leaders really screams about the political divide here in America. Back in 2013, about 40% of the federal workforce was furloughed during the government shutdown. Now, that act left thousands of federal employees in Wisconsin without work, without pay. Now, they were essentially the victims of the government's shortcomings on making a deal. We spoke to a political science expert from Northeast Wisconsin who says the divide between ideologies of Republicans and Democrats continues to grow.
And all of this reflects the political polarization of the whole nation. There's a lot of evidence that the people have become somewhat more divided. The Democrats and Republicans see the world differently, have different sources of information, do not trust one another, do not like one another. And what we're seeing in Congress really is a kind of microcosm of the whole country.
Many political experts did predict it would only take a few days to reopen the federal government. Now, by doing so, both parties will avoid an onslaught of negative news regarding how the government shutdown really impacted Americans' lives. Keeping you connected, I'm Eric Crest with NBC26.
All right, thanks, Eric. Now, police in De Pere are investigating a new scam that aims to get access to people's cloud storage accounts. They say someone's Facebook was hacked, then the suspect asked friends of the victim for access to use their email accounts. Police say the suspect's main goal is to get photos from victims via their iCloud or Google Photos accounts.
What it looks like they're doing is they're targeting juvenile females, hoping that maybe there's some compromising photographs in those devices. If not, they've actually used some bribery, bribing them to and threatening them to get additional photos, additional information, and just trying to get what they can.
Officers also have some tips for you to protect yourself from this scam. Never provide passwords or access to personal accounts. Always use strong passwords and verify any info requests in person or on the phone. Well, still ahead, an adorable addition to the new zoo. More details about these super cute penguin chicks. Stay with us. All right, thanks for being with us. You now have the chance to see the baby African penguins at the new zoo, and they're adorable. Look at this adorable chick, now 17 days old. Its activities range from, of course, eating to sleeping. New zoo curators say the reason these guys were brought in is to expand the declining population of the African penguins. Artificial nests were created, and the chicks even have foster parents, Doodle and Gilligan. Staff members say they're trying their best to mimic how their parents would feed them, and so far it's going well.
Their parents feed them regurgitated fish. The baby asks, just like this little guy's doing right here, basically puts its head up inside the parent's mouth, and the parent is then able to feed it. So I'm not willing to go quite that far to chew up fish, and so we blend up the formula and then use a syringe to feed the baby.
All right, if you'd like to catch a glimpse, Carmen recommends stopping by at 11 a.m. during feeding time. Staff members will try to feed the chicks in front of the window at the nutrition center. So thank goodness they're using a syringe.
Those penguins are probably feeling right at home with this weather
Good
out there
call,
right
Shane,
now.
good call. And the ice as well. And the ice is one of the things that's causing the most problems right now. And it's from the rain that fell yesterday that's now pretty much refrozen, and that snow that may be blowing around a little bit off to the north. Now, anything that we're seeing right now is light, but we're not quite done with the wintry precipitation yet because we're still on the backside of this low, and there's still just a little bit of lift in the atmosphere. But I think this is one of the main stories. Currently in Green Bay, we've dropped back below freezing, 27 degrees, and remember all the rain we saw yesterday. So it's kind of causing a sheet of ice in spots where the standing water was. Not only that, as you throw down the salt this morning, look at the winds. Blustery out there, 18 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 14. So that's why you're seeing some of those delays going across the bottom of your screen. Now, precipitation, there's kind of a lull here, but we're not quite done. Another little batch moving in from the north and west. Here's kind of a closer look. So if you're going right down 43 through Manitowoc, Sheboygan counties, well, some of this is actually mixing with a bit of freezing drizzle. Be aware of that. Here's that lull in parts of Winnebago, Fond du Lac counties, but off to the north and west, we're not quite done. Now, none of this is heavy, but it's still just enough where we're getting just a little bit of light accumulation still as you try to clean things up, just a little bit more of a mess. But if you throw down some salt, salt. It's going to work okay because of the temperatures, but any of this light wintry mix going to move on out as the morning goes on, showing up here on Skycast. And notice as we head into the afternoon, though, things are going to be quiet. The sun going to start to peek out, but it's still going to be blustery out there. Now, current temps, all of us have dropped below freezing. 27 in Manitowoc, 27 Oshkosh and Appleton. Appleton, Oshkosh, you know what I'm talking about. There was plenty of rain in your neighborhoods as well. That's frozen on over. Now, wind chills as you throw down that salt this morning in Appleton. Feels like 16, 13 in Watoma. So feeling chilly, but at least those wind chills right now are above zero. So there goes that low pressure, still a little bit of lift on the backside of it. You see things quieting down to the west. That will get here. And it will get here this afternoon with the quiet weather, but this morning that light wintry mix. Tonight we're also going to keep it quiet as well. Here comes a couple of clouds, but nothing falling out of them here in our area. And then tomorrow, going to be quiet with a lot less wind, but not the story today. Going to be blustery out there with any of this morning mix. There is a little bit of freezing drizzle out there, some real light snow in spots. Otherwise 30 degrees as you clean up this morning. For tonight, we will keep it quiet. It does get kind of chilly, 8 degrees, but it still stays above zero. And then for tomorrow, 25, the key is less wind. Partly cloudy skies. We'll keep it dry. Now Thursday 31, but look at this. By the end of the week, 44 degrees, so more melting, and then a couple very weak systems may bring us a light wintry mix Saturday or Monday, but either way, we're going to be warming it up by the end of the week back into the 40s. But this morning, there's no melting going on unless you have down salt, and that's what's giving us some of those delays.
I remember, yes, exactly. I was just going to say we have almost 40 school closings and delays this morning, so pay attention to the bottom of your screen.
There you go.
All right, still ahead, it's threatening parts of Japan, the latest on an active volcano as the rescue effort continues.
Freezing drizzle has caused untreated spots like this bark of this tree to be completely iced over. Your report coming up from Kewaunee.
Well, thanks for being with us. Our meteorologist Gino Recchia has been tracking the snowy conditions this morning, and he's in Kewaunee.
He's tracking a band of snow and sleet right now, and he continues our team coverage.
Good morning, guys. Yes, just outside of downtown Kewaunee, and gosh, this wind out of the northeast when it's just howling. It's really the wind that just stings you during the winter season. But yesterday, we had some rain. Temperatures were above the freezing mark. Then we cooled off, and we still had that rain, so it turned into a freezing drizzle. Right along this bark of this tree, there's a thin glaze of ice, and it's not just on the trees that we're seeing this ice, it is the sidewalks as well. Anything that is untreated, we are seeing a thin glaze of ice, so very, very slippery right here. If you put salt on your sidewalks, any for residents, if you live in a high traffic area of a lot of people walking, great idea to put some salt. Take just a couple of minutes, and then it prevents anyone from slipping and falling. But the main roads, when we were driving here to Kewaunee, they're okay. The road crews, I've been seeing them salting back and forth, and they've been putting a very generous amount of salt on the roadway, so that's a good idea. At least right now, I'm starting to see some flurries come in, so that's great that we're not seeing the freezing drizzle right now, so it looks like that freezing drizzle threat is starting to diminish. But keeping you connected, live in Kewaunee, meteorologist Gino Recchia will send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Gino. Yeah, you can really hear the wind whipping around where he is.
For sure,
yeah. We'll see if it's the same story here in Ashwaubenon. Michael Fish is out on the weather deck with more for us. Fish?
Oh, yeah, I've got the wind, and now I've got the light snow, as my photographer Kyle said. This mixture, when you have this frozen over ice and some light snow, that's a recipe of fall, and so just watch it as you head out the door this morning. Here's a look at that secondary batch of light wintry precipitation moving on through right now here in Ashwaubenon. It is just light snow, but if it is mixing in with some freezing drizzle, don't be surprised. There it is. You can see it right here on the radar. It's just enough as we try to clean things up this morning that it's making it just kind of messy again, but throw down plenty of salt. It is going to work because the temperature is not too bad. Now, as far as any of this light wintry precipitation this morning, it will be moving out as the morning goes on. Here we are by 9:30, and then watch by the noon hour, most of it out of here. And then as the afternoon goes on, we start to see a little bit of sunshine. But you guys, I do have 40 in the forecast, so we're going to melt a lot of this. I'll let you know exactly when coming up.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks, Fish. All right, in Japan, at least one person is dead after a volcanic eruption and avalanche. It happened at a ski resort northwest of Tokyo. The numbers are changing. The AP reports 9 hurt, but the BBC says it's at least 14, including one person who is in critical condition. The BBB also reports a Japanese soldier was killed and that nearly 80 skiers are trapped on a hill. Police initially reported one person missing, then said that was not the case after all.
This morning, authorities in Oklahoma are letting a gas rig burn itself out. It exploded yesterday about 100 miles southeast of Tulsa. 5 people are still missing. Investigators say about 17 workers got out. Teams can't get close to the rig yet, and a neighbor told local reporters that the explosion killed cattle nearby. The cause is still under investigation. We'll be right back.
All right, thanks for being with us. It's a tricky morning out on the roads. Let's go now to our Emily Beyer. She's in Marinette.
And she's continuing our team coverage this morning. Good morning, Emily. How's it going out there?
Hey guys, good morning everyone. If you take a look behind me here, this is one of the more well-traveled areas in Marinette. Right now they are on a 2-hour delay, and for a really good reason. If you take a look, we can see there's a ton of snow everywhere that they're still clearing out. But if you take a look too at these flags, you can see that we are also experiencing some pretty decent winds here. Even that we were feeling while we were driving, so you got to be very careful when you're driving as well. We have seen a couple different plows that are out plowing, some contracted plows, and they are throwing salt out on the roads, but that does not mean there are not some slick spots that you may come across, so definitely watch for those. Also be very careful walking out on the streets. We also saw a couple slick spots on different sidewalks, so just be very careful out there. Head to our website too on NBC26.com for an update on all those closings and delays. Fish, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Emily. Emily's up north. I'm watching the Fox Valley, where you were farther south and you saw plenty of rain, but look what happened to your temperature. Now 27 degrees, so back below freezing. So all that standing water has now frozen over, and that was on the roadways as well. So we're cleaning that up this morning, and we're not quite done with the wintry precipitation yet. Appleton, the Fox Valley, you're about to see some light snow moving on through, maybe mixed with some patchy freezing drizzle. Either way, it's not going to be a lot, but it's just enough that it's causing more slippery spots, especially on top of that ice. Now, precipitation off to the north, there's Crivets, Shawano right now. Some light snow just starting to end, but you have just a bit more off to your north and west, so you're not quite done. But as we head through the morning, watch here on Skycast. There goes that light wintry precipitation, and then this afternoon, we're quiet, but it's still going to be blustery. So all of us are now below freezing, and that's a lot of you who saw all that rain yesterday. It's currently 27 Oshkosh, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, and 28 in Sheboygan. Now, as far as wind chills, it's blustery out there. So we've got a wind chill of what feels like 14 in Oshkosh, 17 in Fond du Lac as you throw down that salt this morning. Now, as we go through the morning, we get rid of that light wintry mix. The afternoon looking quiet, a high of 30. We're going to melt this, though. I'm going to let you know when we hit 40 degrees coming up. Stay with us.
All right, thanks for being with us this morning. Lots of school delays rolling in this morning.
Yeah, and they're mainly delays, you guys. Not what's falling pretty much right now, but what we're cleaning up from yesterday. Of course, a lot of us saw a lot of rain, and now our temperatures have dropped back below freezing, but we're not quite done with the wintry precipitation quite yet. Anything that's falling is light, but we're still on the backside of this low pressure. There's still just a little bit of lift, and you see these light bands of snow and some patchy freezing drizzle moving on through. I'll get to that in a second, but Green Bay, I know you saw plenty of rain yesterday. Now look at your temperature. You're back below freezing, so that rain that was liquid has now frozen in a lot of spots. So we're cleaning that up. The winds right now, they're going to be picking up, giving us a wind chill of 18 as you throw down that salt this morning, but still dealing with some light snow, maybe some patchy freezing drizzle going along 43 south through Manitowoc, Sheboygan. But there's Green Bay, another batch of some light snow falling on top of that ice, still making it even more slippery. As you throw down some salt, though, this morning, the temperature's kind of helping that out. But this light wintry precipitation, watch what happens here on Skycast. We're going to get rid of that as the morning goes on. And then this afternoon will be quiet, a little bit of sunshine, but it's still going to be blustery. So temperatures, everyone now back below freezing. That's why we've seen that refreeze out there of that liquid. Oshkosh is 27. Same with Appleton, 29 in Fond du Lac. Let's factor in the winds as you throw down that salt this morning. This is what it's going to feel like. 17 Fond du Lac and 16 in Appleton. So the rest of your day today, this morning light wintry mix of precipitation going to come to an end. Then just blustery this afternoon with a high of 30. You guys, I am going to let you know when we do more melting with 40 degrees in the forecast. I'll time it out coming up.
All right, thanks, Fish. A little slick out there. Let's take a look at our road conditions map right now. This is a live look at the DOT's winter road conditions map.
And as you can see across northeast Wisconsin, things not looking great out there. If you focus in on Door County there, you can see the major highways through Door County are listed as red, which means they are ice covered. That's Highway 57 and 42. And then from Green Bay down through Appleton, Oshkosh, and Fond du Lac on Highway 41 there, that's listed as pink, which means those are slippery stretches. And the rest of northeast Wisconsin overall listed as blue there, which means those major highways are snow covered. We're not seeing any green on this map, which would signify good winter driving.
And our meteorologist Gino Recchia traveling on those roads this morning. He's in Kewanee.
Yeah, he's tracking a band of snow and sleet right now, and he continues our team coverage.
Good morning, guys. Yes, just outside of downtown Kewanee, and I was debating what kind of shoes I should be wearing to work today. And honestly, I could have just brought in some ice skates because of how icy the sidewalks are right now. Just take a look. It's probably hard to see, but maybe you could tell by the reflection off the camera. A thin glaze of ice, and all you need is a thin glaze enough for you to slip and fall. And my photographer and I, every time we got out of the car to get ready for the next live shot, we almost slipped and pretty much fell on our back because of how icy and glazed over the sidewalks are. So pretty much any place that does not have any treatment, any salt on them, it is icy this morning. But you can perhaps tell cars are kind of moving out and about. There's another pickup truck passing right by. The main roadways, they are fine. It's just those side streets and the sidewalks that still need to be treated. That's why likely we have those school delays. Right now, though, thankfully, it has stopped freezing, drizzling. It is now flurrying outside, so no more of that ice accumulation. But keeping you connected live in Kewanee, meteorologist Gino Recchia will send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Gino. Now, for those of you driving out on the ice this morning, drive slow and be defensive. If you do go into the ditch, stay in your car and call 911 for help. AAA also recommends putting together an emergency kit for your car. They also suggest topping off your fluids, check your windshield wipers, and always watch out for brake lights in icy conditions. All right, let's go now to our Emily Beyer. She's in Marinette.
She's continuing our team coverage this morning. And Emily, how's it going out there?
Hey guys, good morning everyone. We're just here on Hall Avenue, which is kind of the main drag here in Marinette. And now if you take a look, we were talking about this sidewalk here before. We just now have a guy with a snowblower coming through, clearing this road here. Again, the road down below that sidewalk was completely cleared, but they're still digging out of snow here in Marinette. If you take a look up, we're also watching those winds. You can see that these flags are just being whipped around here this morning. And we're also making sure to watch that on the roads. I know when we were driving up here just between Peshtigo and Marinette, the roads were looking pretty good. They were, you could tell that there was a lot of salt thrown down, so there weren't too many slick spots, but we were definitely feeling us kind of get whipped around a little bit from those winds, so definitely be careful for that. It can be really easy to get a little push from that wind and slip on some black ice, so just be very careful out on the roads. Again, we are watching for those delays. Head to our website, NBC26.com, for updates on that. For now, reporting live in Marinette, Emily Beyer, NBC26.
All right, thank you so much, Emily. And with plenty of snow on the ground in the northern parts of our region, it's time to hit the snowmobile trails. And this week, the Center for Childhood Safety has some safety tips during their International Snowmobile Safety Week. Kids under 16 should not drive. Always check local ice conditions, wear a helmet and other protective gear, and never snowmobile alone. And if you're looking to hit the trails, here's a look at which ones are open. According to the Wisconsin DNR's website, the trails in Door and Oconto counties are partially open. The conditions in Marinette County are also listed to be fair at this time.
And all of this rain did not help any of the trails to the south, including the Fox Valley, 27 degrees. Now, we saw plenty of rain in the Fox Valley. These temperatures are key, so any of that liquid is now completely frozen over. Winds, they've been gusty this morning. Right now, sustained at 13, giving you a wind chill of 16. We're not quite done with the wintry precipitation yet. Fox Valley, you're going to see some light snow, possibly mixed with some light freezing drizzle moving on through, and there's a little bit of that along 43. So any delays right now, pretty much dealing with that cleanup, but still some of this light precipitation falling on top of that ice, creating some slippery conditions even along 29 as well, going into Green Bay from Shawano. Some light precipitation falling, but this is going to be moving on out as the morning goes on. And then this afternoon, starting to see some sunshine. We'll quiet it down, but we'll keep up those winds. Current temps, we've got 27 Kewanee, Manitowoc. Everyone is now below freezing. So those of you who saw all that rain, it's frozen over. And then as you throw down that salt this morning, this is what it feels like in Green Bay. 18, that's the wind chill, and 14 in Oshkosh. So this light wintry mix this morning in spots going to end. Then this afternoon quieting it down, but still going to be blustery. High of 30 degrees. You guys, we will do some melting. I'm going to let you know when we hit 40 degrees coming up.
All right, thanks, Fish. Now, the federal government shutdown is over.
Lawmakers in Washington are working out a deal for now, setting up another deadline in 3 weeks. And Tracy Potts has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Brooke and Shane, we now have a new deadline of February 8th to deal with the budget and keep the government open. The president made that official overnight while tweeting that Democrats caved and he plans to work on the military and border security. With the stroke of the president's pen, the federal government reopens today with a 3-week budget for now and a commitment to finding a solution for Dreamers next month.
This immigration debate will have a level playing field at the outset and an amendment process that is fair to all sides.
What changed? Democrats decided to trust a Republican promise.
While this procedure will not satisfy everyone on both sides, it's a way forward.
The yeas are 81, the nays are 18.
But nearly 24 Democrats voted no, skeptical the DACA immigration deal will happen before a March deadline.
It is extremely difficult when you have a president that you don't know where he is on any given day.
The White House says the president is all in on immigration.
A big priority for this administration is making sure we address this program in its entirety, not just that one piece of it.
Federal employees are relieved the shutdown is over.
I need the money for my bills.
Some bracing for another standoff.
We're going to be back to the same situation, which is ridiculous.
Crisis averted, but only for 3 weeks. This deal also extends children's health insurance for 6 years and temporarily gets rid of some taxes under the Affordable Care Act. In Washington, Tracy Potts, NBC26.
All right, thanks, Tracy. Leaders in Marinette are holding a public meeting tonight. The plan is to discuss possible groundwater contamination issues in the town of Peshtigo. The groundwater has been tested for the presence of 2 compounds being studied by the EPA and health agencies.
These are wells just like at your own home if you did not live in a city and were connected to a city sewer or city water system. So these are the wells that people drink the water from, they shower with, they do their laundry with.
Representatives from the DNR and the Department of Health Services and Tyco Fire Products, the company believed to be responsible for the possible contamination, will be on hand tonight to answer questions.
All right, still to come, the epidemic rages on as the flu continues to make us sick. The urgent message doctors want you to know. We'll be right back.
Well, thanks for being with us. Local pharmacists say now is the time to get your flu shot. Even though the flu is widespread in 49 states, experts say the peak could come in February or March. The pharmacy at Shabco and Ashwaubenon has seen an increase of patients getting the shot. They give out 10 flu shots at one location over the weekend. Experts say there are advantages to getting a vaccine at a pharmacy.
It usually takes a lot less time to get it done. You just have to fill out a form, and the prescription is treated like you would treat a prescription for a patient that comes in to get a refill. Pharmacists administer the shot right away.
No appointments are necessary. Pharmacists also say even though the first line of defense is getting the flu shot, good hygiene is equally important.
And with yesterday's rain, wind-driven, if you didn't have a waterproof jacket, I feel like that was the time to get sick.
For sure.
Yucky weather like this, not good.
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's the cleanup from yesterday and all that rain that's frozen over, that's what's causing a lot of our delays this morning. Anything that's falling is very light, but we still have some light wintry precipitation out there on the backside of this low. See this bit of a lull, but there's just a little bit of lift on the backside of the low that's giving us just some very light snow currently in Green Bay, but this is one of the keys. Well below freezing now, 26 degrees. It is kind of blustery out there, giving us a wind chill of 15, but these temperatures are what's freezing back over that rain that we saw yesterday, and there was plenty of it in Green Bay. Now here's kind of that wider view. This batch moving on out, kind of this low, but a little bit more light snow and possibly some light freezing drizzle moving on through parts of the area. So as you go down 43 this morning, some very light snow, some patchy light freezing drizzle. This bit of a lull in parts of Winnebago, Fond du Lac County, but a little bit more light snow working its way right along 29 between Shawano and Green Bay, and then just a little bit more off to the north and west. This will not last all day. Skycast showing that as we go through the morning, we get rid of this light wintry mix of precipitation, and then this afternoon, we're going to see a little bit more sun, but it's not going to help the temperatures much, nor that wind. It's going to be blustery out there as we do some cleanup. Temperatures currently, it's everybody now that's below freezing. I know you saw quite a bit of rain in Oshkosh and Appleton. It's 27 by you, so things have iced over. 29 in Fond du Lac, same story. So as you're going out to throw down some salt, this is what it feels like outside. Wind chill of 16 in Oconto, same with Appleton, 14 in Oshkosh. So there goes that low pressure, just a little bit of lift on the backside of it. That's why we're seeing that real light wintry mix out there. But again, that's going to move on out as we head through the morning hours. And then notice the afternoon, it's going to be quiet, but it will be blustery. Now going into the nighttime hours here, also going to be quiet. It's going to get a little bit colder, but not the worst we've seen this winter. And then for tomorrow, also going to keep it quiet. The key is less wind. So today, though, that's not the case. It is going to be blustery out there, and this light morning mix of a little bit of freezing drizzle and light snow going to end, but that's still causing some problems with that icing that we're freeze back over from yesterday. Now, as far as tonight, 8 degrees, clouds back on the increase. Yes, a little bit cooler, but still above zero. Tomorrow, this is the key, less wind. It won't feel that bad outside, 25 degrees. That's right around average, actually, for this time of year. But notice as we go into the end of the week, look at Friday, back up to 44 and 40 on Saturday. Now, there are just a couple small chances of precipitation. Those are weak cool fronts. But either way, this morning, you guys, the key is cleanup. It's from all that rain yesterday. We've frozen it right back over, and this light wintry mix just making things a little bit worse.
Yeah, we saw Emily and Marinette. Guys wrote snow blowing already, the sidewalks, so
yeah,
it's definitely messy.
Looks like a lot of work out there.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Fish. Up next on the chopping block, see if the Bucks still got the job done on their home floor just hours after a big shakeup with the head coach. Stay with us.
And now, NBC 26 Sports with Kelly Price.
Good morning. I'm sure you've seen this by now. Bucks head coach Jason Kidd has been fired in his 4th season in Milwaukee, but the Bucks front office is still trying to figure out what comes next in this aftermath.
We made this decision relatively quickly. Why now? At the end of the day, we believe this gives our team the best opportunity to have the most success this season, the success that we expect, and going forward long term. And so you have short windows in the NBA to build towards contention and actually contend, and we didn't want to waste time in putting our team in the best position to do that. This is not something that was premeditated or really in the balance for most of the season. We just felt like we got to a point in the season where this team could do more and could perform at a different level in a different way, and we looked for a kind of a fresh approach and different voice and leadership for the team.
Bucks were 23-22 on the season before last night's game, and Milwaukee's front office felt the 44-year-old was underachieving with talent like Giannis Antetokounmpo on his team. Kidd's record at the helm in Milwaukee will remain under 500 with 139 wins, 152 losses. The Bucks made it to the first round of the NBA playoffs in the 2014-15 and 2016-17 seasons. In the locker room before last night's game, Bucks were surprised to learn about their coach's fate.
It's unfortunate. He helped me kind of establish myself in the league as a player and gave me the opportunity to play. So, we're going to miss him, especially his presence and his basketball mind, and wish the best for him. Nah, I don't think anybody saw it coming, but that's the league. That's how it is. It's up to us to kind of bond together, the staff and the players to kind of do this for him and, play hard and keep winning. I haven't spoke to him, kind of want to, let things kind of die down a little bit before you kind of send your messages of thanks and praise, and, that's what we'll probably do tomorrow and, go from there.
In the meantime, Bucks assistant coach Joe Prunty taking over as interim head coach for the rest of the season. Tied 53 apiece at the half, we go to the third quarter. Eric Bledsoe facing off against his former team gets a steal and the and one for a 56-53 advantage. Later, Bucks trying to grow that lead. Bledsoe to Malcolm Brogdon, drives, gets 2. 67-60. Brogdon had a career-high 32 points last night. In the fourth, it's close at 101-100, but that's when you give it to Chris Middleton money, and they want to give up the lead. On a long day for the organization, the Bucks are victorious, 109-105. Well, that's all I've got for sports for you this morning. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Let's turn to weather now. Let's send it outside to Fish. He's on the weather deck and see what's going on. Fish.
Guys, it's blustery out here. Not only that, it's dropped back below freezing, and I'm in Green Bay. Now remember, we saw plenty of rain here, so anything that we've seen as far as liquid has now frozen back over. That's our sidewalks, our decks. Not only that, notice if you look around me, some light snow falling, and it's showing up here on radar. just the right combination on top of this ice to make things pretty slippery. So watch it as you head out the door this morning. Throw down some salt, it should work. This is the last of the batches of this light wintry mix of precipitation. That's going to move on out as the morning goes on. Notice here on Skycast, towards mid-morning, there most of it goes, and by after the noon hour, we're okay, a little bit of sunshine, but guys, it will stay blustery today, but still the cleanup continues, mainly from the refreeze that we saw from yesterday. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these delays this morning. I can attest, it's slippery right here where there is no salt down, so just give yourself a couple extra minutes. Not only that, you guys remember, if you parked your car outside, it's probably covered in a little sheet of ice, so you're going to have to scrape it off.
Yeah, give it a little extra time to warm up this morning, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Fish. Yep. And we'll take another break, but before that, let's take a live look outside on our Green Bay Tower Cam. You're watching NBC26 Today. Stay with us.
Good morning. Coming up on Today, we're going to have the very latest on this breaking news. A powerful earthquake off Alaska leading to an overnight tsunami warning for the entire West Coast. Also ahead, the new fights brewing in Washington as the government shutdown comes to an end. Did the Democrats cave? Could the president have done more to end it sooner? We're live at the White House. And then Jenna hits the road for our Tag Us Today series to give a group of deserving kids the surprise of their lives. All that plus complete coverage of this morning's Oscar nominations when we get started on a Tuesday morning right here on Today.
All right, thanks for being with us all morning long. One last reminder, lots of school closings and delays rolling in this morning, so keep track on the bottom of your screen there.
And it's probably from what fell yesterday, and then we froze it right back over because we're all below freezing. And then we have this little batch of light wintry precipitation. There's a little bit of freezing drizzle and some light snow moving through parts of the area, but this is pretty much the last of it. You see in Green Bay between Shawano on Highway 29, and then to the north and west, much less of this. This is going to end as the morning goes on. Here's a look at Skycast. You know, you put this little bit of light snow over the ice that's frozen out there, causing some slippery spots, but notice this by right after the noon hour, that's out of here. Then the sun going to come out a little bit, but it's still going to be blustery out there. So that's probably why we're seeing some of the delays in a lot of spots as we clean things up this morning. Otherwise today, blustery 30, but look at by the end of the week, we're going to do some melting and then 44 by the time we hit Friday.
All right, so today though, take it easy out on the roads. Careful walking on your driveways and sidewalks.
Let the crews do their time. I think that's the thing. They've got to do their job, get down that salt, and melt a lot of the ice that's out there.
It'll melt eventually, just not right away.
Yes.
All right, thanks for watching NBC26 Today. The Today Show is up next. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.